Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another series of 5 minutes with R. Today, we are not going to answer any inquiries from my acquaintance or any friend of mine, but I would like to express some of my experience when I try to introduce R statistic programming to the masses. One of the concern of R statistics programming is because it is a programming language, and people tend to feel intimidated when it comes to using R because they have to memorize the scripting and also the syntax in order to achieve some statistic analysis output. What if I tell you that you already have a graphical user interface that is on par with some commercial statistical softwares, and sometimes it's even better than that, and it's free. So let me introduce to you a package that will generally save you a lot of money. It's called the Rcmdr. Normally we call it R Commander. Since I already downloaded it in my system, I can always load it out. Once loaded, you'll see that it will run something and voila, this is the graphical user interface of R Commander. If you look right here, you see that there is no data set. Yes. If we want to, we can always import it by clicking import data. There are a lot of formats that we can import our data in, and one of them is Excel. We can name it, press OK, and select the data, select the sheet that we want. Press OK. Now, here data one is already been loaded. So if you want to get to see what data we have loaded, you can just press view data set, and it will come out with the windows, and you can see your data here. Notice that this is actually the same data set example that I loaded a few videos ago. And if you want to edit your data, you can press this data integrity percent. And from here, you can play with the column. You can put any data you want, like a normal Excel spreadsheet. If you're done with it, just press next, and either you have to discard it or not. Or here, we'll press yes, then it will not change anything. And once you have set our data set, if you want to look into the statistical descriptive statistics of your data set, you can press statistics, summary, numerical summaries. From here, you'll track that probability summarized by group. And for here, we look for daily. You'll see that it will generate up some data that we would like to see, such as mean, standard deviation, the quartile range, and also the uh, the minimum, maximum, and median, and Q1 and Q3 data sets. The data for every day, each day that you have here. So from here, we can also look into the statistic analysis. Like we did last time, we want to conduct normality tests. We can always go to right here and see test of normality. You can see we want to conduct it for turbidity, and there's myriad options for you to choose. And one of it is Shapiro wheel, which is turbidity, Shapiro wheel, and press OK. Come up with the Shapiro wheel test for us, our normality test. And you can see that the p-value is less than 0.05, which means turbidity is not normally distributed. So if it is not normally distributed, we have to conduct the next test of groups for using non-parametric tests. If you want to run it for non-parametric tests, you can go statistics for non-parametric tests. On the event of the scenario of parametric or normally distributed, you can go for means. All the t-tests and ANOVA will be available here. For our case, we can go for, if you want to look into turbidity with days, you can go for Kraskov-Wallace test, go for turbidity, and day. Press OK. You'll see that the output of the median is like this. You can see our p-value shows that there is no significant difference for Kraskov-Wallace, especially around the day for the turbidity. If you want to look into how your data fare in visually, you can just go graphs, click on, last time we did on box plot, press on box plot, and turbidity plot by group and by the day, and okay, then voila, you can see that the data just pops up. We don't really need to script anything and just move the graphical user interface to click on the options that we need. And you can also save it as a photo and then paste it in your Microsoft Words, your manuscript draft. All right. So aside for the standard heuristic analysis that I've shown you in the graph with Bob, the R commando can do a lot of stuff. And in fact, you can replace 80 to 90% of what a commercial statistics software can do. Let me show you what I mean. So statistics, except for the summaries, means, and also non-parametric tests, you can also conduct principal component analysis. And you can also run GLN, GAM, linear models, multinomial logics as well. And if you have uh, visualization to generate, you can generate from the graph section. And there are more than 10 graphs that you can do. But you can actually generate and you can experience one by one at your own pace. Lastly, you can also test your models that you have done and also the hypothesis test. If you have a model generator, you can also test the distribution of your data sets. So with that said, R Commander is actually a very good replacement for me. In my personal opinion, it's a good replacement for some commercial statistical software. However, you just need to remember that you have to start off by downloading R and then call it from R statistic programming. And with that said, if you like this video, please share to anyone that you think will benefit from there. Subscribe to my video and do tell me what do you want to learn about R statistic programming in the future in the comments section. And with all that said, thank you.